I just wanted it to be understood that after the season that I had, or the last 4 years I had, that I found the power of prayer, and that it's something that I really believe in. And when I got to Victory Lane in Daytona, that's what I was thinking about. I was crying, obviously because I was happy, but also because you feel like a prayer has been answered. And so that is as a very powerful thing, and it's obviously very emotional when you feel like you I don't know. I mean, that's a very selfish thing to ask for. Certainly, it's not the first thing that I pray about every day, but I mean, everyone wants to be successful, and you want to do well in life, and so when you feel like that's been answered, it's emotional, and I don't know. I thought about it the last 8 or 10 laps. I was like, if I win this race, Lord, if you don't throw a caution, is what I said, and I win this race, I'm going to explain to people my feelings and why I felt that way, and I think that's important. I watch other professional athletes, whether it's bull riders or basketball players or motorcycle riders, and you hear them get out and you hear them, thank God and talk about the power of prayer, and I just think that that's important for people to understand and understand why my feelings were the way they were. And I forgot to thank Sprint and the fans in the middle of all that because I got so emotional and tied up in it.
Go ahead, Mike. We'll take a question from Mike, and then we'll hear from Kevin, and then go upstairs. Go ahead. MikeHenrySpeed.com. Congratulations to you, Jack. Kyle was disappointed that there was a caution, but do you feel like you were going to pass him probably without a caution? You think you could have passed him and held him off over those last laps if the race had gone on?
Well, I knew that catching Kyle and passing Kyle would be two different things, but we were very equal in turns 1 and 2, but I was quite a bit quicker than he was in 3 and 4. And I knew that if I was going to pass him, I was going to have to clear him in 3 and 4. And I don't know how fast I was catching him, but I felt like I was catching him fairly fast, and there were 30 laps left. And when your car starts going away as quick as his was going away, yes, I felt like I was going to be able to pass him. I mean, you never know. I mean, honestly, I was disappointed when the caution came out because I thought that was going to take my chance of winning away from me. So, it's hard. I mean, because for him, he was in the lead, and they threw a caution, and the next lap he wasn't. So, I understand why he feels the way he did.
Let's go to Kevin Mandy now, crew chief. Talk about the win tonight.
Oh, it's incredible. Really wanted it back in the spring with Chip winning the Indy 500 on that day, and when he showed up, the pit box started rocking in the spring, and I told him we had a really good shot of winning tonight, and just coming home second with a late race caution in the spring really made us really want to win this race even more.
Thank you, Kevin. Let's go upstairs. We have a question in the press box. Go ahead.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sportsman. Congratulations, guys. Jamie, talk a little bit about 8 years. How have you changed over the 8 years? I mean, it just seems like you've grown so much from the guy that was in Victory Lane, just that time ago.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've grown up a lot in the last 8 years. I'm married. I'm expecting a child. I mean, my life has changed a lot, and I feel like I'm a lot smarter of a racer, and I try to put myself in a better position probably than what I did back then. And then, I mean, it's I don't know. That's a tough question to answer because it's you don't realize how much you don't know. And then 8 or 10 years goes by, and you realize what you didn't know then, and how much more you know now, and how much more you're going to know in 10 years from now. So if I didn't confuse you with all that, I was trying to make sense. Certainly quite a bit different as a person, a lot different place in my life. And I think probably more than anything is I'm more appreciative of the sponsors and of the opportunities that I have right now versus 2002.
Other questions in the press box? Go ahead.
Kerry, I think we're clear.
Okay, let's come back downstairs. We've got a couple. Go ahead. Go to you, then we'll go to her, then we'll go to you.
Congratulations, Jamie. Buzz Cutler from Rowdy.com. On Thursday, Jimmy Johnson was in here and expressed the opinion that Kyle Busch was probably the best driver in the garage when it came to restarts. Wondering if you might share that opinion and how you approached that final restart when you were able to get fast.
Well, my opinion of Kyle, I don't know that he's the best on the restarts. I think Kyle is the best driver in traffic. When he's leading a race or wherever he's running in the race, he seems to be able to get through traffic better than anybody else. Even if he has a tight car or a loose car, he does a better job than anybody else. And I noticed that tonight when he was leading and I was running second. He does a really good job. And I watch him in the truck series. I watch him in the nationwide series. He's probably the best at that. I don't know that I've paid a lot of attention to the restarts, but the restarts have always been really good for me. And I don't know why, but I feel like I do a really good job when the tires spin of not spinning my tires. And it's very hard to discipline yourself when you have 900 horsepower to not continue to push the throttle down until they spin. When they start spinning, you lose a tremendous amount of speed. And it's very hard when victory lane is the difference of spinning the tires and not. And I went through turns 1 and 2 wide open when I got a little bit of a run on Kyle, and I heard the spotter say, he's still there, clear. And as soon as I heard clear, it's amazing when his front bumper breaks the plane of your rear bumper, how you feel the car like lunge forward because there's so much drag, I guess, when they're side drafting you. So as soon as I heard the spotter say clear and I felt that, that's a pretty good feeling, I promise you.
Go ahead.
Jamie, Kim Robertson, Insider Racing News. Hello, congratulations.
Thanks.
Just wanted to ask about, with the situation that's going on with the Meal family this week, how important is this as a morale booster to, keeping with what's going on with Steve and his family? How important is it to keep things up and moving in the shop when there's such a trying time going on with a member of the family?
Well, certainly the success that we've had this year is Steve Meal is a huge part of that, and what happened to Shane. I can't imagine the feeling that Steve and his wife had last week with a series of an accident is what Shane was involved in. So I know that's been really tough, and from my side of that, I sent Steve a text and told him, if there's anything I could do, I'll go out of my way to help him and do whatever he needs. I've tried to get him space because I know that everyone's probably texting him, and anyone who has had something devastating happen, whether it's good or bad, like you're trying to answer all the texts, so you're being polite, and you honestly wish people would just quit sending them. So I tried to give Steve his space, and I have kept up with Shane's progress, whether it's through the people at the race shop or through Lisa Meal's Facebook page. She's been updating that. And certainly his progress looks like it is really good. It seems like it's all good news coming from her Facebook page. But that was a devastating accident, and I know that's really hard on that family. Steve has been a huge part of our team's success this year. So we certainly want him back and want Shane to recover 100%.
Go ahead, sir.
This question is for Tim Mannion. This is Pete McCall from race1.com. Since you guys aren't in the chase field this year, does that kind of give you guys a little more freedom in what you're going to do in order to try and give yourself, put yourself in a position to win?
That is a good question. We definitely have been experimenting outside of our baseline setup the last couple weeks. Last week in California, this week. Something we're working on, just haven't perfected it yet. It did show great promise the other day. So it does definitely give you a little bit more freedom to experiment, make more riskier calls, fuel mileage and so on and so forth. But it also gives us time at the shop to actually take a breath, and say, okay, we didn't make this chase, it's hit, All right, now what do we got to do for the next 10 races to still race good, but have a little bit of fun, because it's, as you all know, a very trying and stressful job, including yourself coming in here every week in different venues. So just a breath of fresh air, and lining things up for 11, maybe 10 weeks sooner than the guys in the chase that are concentrating on making a name for themselves at the end of the year.
Go ahead, Holly.
Holly Green with AOL Sports. Jamie, do you guys kind of scratch your head a little bit and say, how do they always do this? For Jimmy Johnson, particularly tonight, coming back, they had a series of different things that they had to overcome, and yet he still extended his points lead. I mean, what do you other drivers think of that, and just how impressive is that to you that always seems to happen?
Yeah, certainly what they have been able to do is remarkable. And this, Jimmy has, those are all really good tracks for him. Actually every track seems to be a good track for him, but it seems like the final 10 races are just exceptional tracks for the 48 team. And you know what, they just do a better job, it seems like, than the other teams do. And it's amazing to me when they have an average car, how they're able to adjust on it and get the car better. The last couple of weeks, looking at the 48 car in Happy Hour, they have not been I didn't think they'd been very fast. I didn't think the car looked like it had a lot of speed in it. It didn't look real consistent, but they still in the race are able to adjust on it. And you know, Jimmy's a really good driver and puts himself in a good position. And they just are able to always seems like they make the right decision.
Go ahead, Mike, and then Jim, then Bob, and Marty.
My dad from PressStretch.com. One for each of you. First, you, Bono, you put together a winning modified with Ryan Newman this year too. Is having success in that series and in this series both just giving you an overall confidence in the crew chief that you're kind of doing this thing right? And for Jamie, you said you came in second to 600 and nothing less than winning was going to be good enough. You came in second in Talladega. When you go back in a couple of weeks, is anything less than winning there going to be a disappointment to you?
As far as the ability, it takes great people in your organization and to win. It's just not a one-man band, but for winning in the modifieds, that's just fun for us. And I couldn't do it without Gary and Russell and a couple of the other guys and our sponsors. And as far as the Cup side, it's a total team effort. And the Indy win, we can chalk up Ryan helping us a lot. They tire tested out there and Juan's the king there. So it takes a total team effort all around you, and you're only as good as the people you're working with and the drivers you got. And but winning races give you confidence no matter what. So it's a win-win for sure.
Go ahead, Jim.
Jim Hunter, Charlotte Observer. Jamie, I know you said it didn't really bother you all that much about not making the chase, considering everything you've accomplished this season. But when you look at what you've accomplished, how do you look at, or have you even started looking at next season? Does what you have already done get you really excited about starting off again next season, or do you try to still relish perhaps even some more wins before this season's over?
I really haven't thought about next year. Just working on the remainder of this season, and I don't know. I don't think you should put the cart in front of the horse. You take this 1 week at a time, and we have so many different kinds of racetracks coming up between like Martinsville next week and then Talladega, some 1.5-mile tracks, Phoenix. There's so much different stuff coming up that I really haven't put much thought into next season. I feel really good, obviously, about our 1.5-mile stuff. We've got a really good package for that, and like Bono said, we're testing some other stuff that's a fair amount different, and I think if we can get that to work, then that's probably going to be an advantage for us next season. So we are kind of working on that, but at the same time, we've got some stuff that's really reliable stuff that does seem to have a lot of speed in it. So we're working on that right now.